Hello everyone. Welcome to the third and the last session on Unit 3, that is Public Key and Management. In this session, we will learn the importance of digital signature. So, digital signatures are essential in today's modern world to verify the sender of a document and his identity. It is a string of binary digits, and the computer is using a set of rules and algorithms to identify the person signing the documents. To understand digital signature clearly, every one of us must know the fundamentals associated with Kerberos authentication protocol, message digest algorithm, and secure hash algorithm. Thus, you will be able to compare and evaluate suitable techniques from the available alternatives. This is the general overview of information and cyber security. So, before we start learning this subject, we all must know vision and mission of our computer engineering program so that you will be get strategic direction, values and ethical practices. So next is vision and mission. The vision of computer engineering program is to provide quality technical education for developing globally competent and ethically strong computer engineer with the power of innovation and commitment contributing to the technology and serve the society at large. To achieve this vision or mission is to impart quality technical education and enhance skill for developing globally competent and IT professionals and so on. By keeping this vision and mission, we will start learning this subject. So next is the quick review of session 2. In the previous session, we briefly discussed cryptography and authentication methods. We have taken the key distribution and management, in which we discussed the key that can be generated by using the well-known symmetric as well as asymmetric cryptographic algorithm like RSA and Diffie-Hellman. We reviewed the terms symmetric key using the symmetric key and the asymmetric encryption, in which you learn about key distribution, hierarchical key control, session key lifetime, transport key control scheme, then decentralized key control, then controlling key usage. After that, we had discussed the distribution of the public key. We learn public announcement, that publicly available directory. In that, you have learn about the distribution of the public key. We conclude our discussion by learning the importance of Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. This is the summary of session 2. Next, we will see the contents of today's session. So, to understand the digital signature concept clearly, we divide this topic into the 5 sections. We will begin with MD5 message digest algorithm. We will learn about its 5th version of message digest algorithm developed to produce 128-bit message digest. Next, we will discuss the modified version of the MD5, that is the secure hash algorithm SHA, that is designed to obtain the original message. After that, we will proceed to review the term Kerberos. Here, you will understand what are the technical deficiencies in Kerberos version 4 protocol and version 5. After that, we will learn the importance of digital certificate. We will review the term like X509 certificate. Then we will conclude our session by discussion on digital signature standard, that is DSS. We will learn how digital signature standards schemes generate and verify the digital signature. This is the pathway for our today's session. Next, we will see the operations of MD5. The first one is the introduction to the MD5 algorithm, in which MD5 message digest algorithm is the 5th version of the message digest algorithm developed by Ron Rivest to produce 128-bit message digest. Use of MD5 algorithm to consider the cryptographically secure MD5 should meet two requirements. The first requirement is it is impossible to generate the two inputs that cannot produce the same hash function. Then second requirement is it is impossible to generate the message having the same hash value. Initially, MD5 was developed to store the one-way hash of a password and some file servers. These are the main applications area of MD5 algorithm. Now let's discuss how to do MD5 algorithm works. The steps in MD5 that appending the padding bits. Padding means adding the extra bit to the original message so that MD5 original message is padded in such a way that its length should be 448 modulo 512. So the padding is done in such a way that the total bit should be less than 64 and it should be multiple of 512 bits in length. So second step is append the length. After padding, 64 bit are inserted at the end, which is used to record the original input length, that is modulo 2 raised to power 64. At this point, the resulting message has length multiple of 512 bits. In step 3, we initialize the MD buffer. A 4-word buffer such as ABCD suppose is used to compute the value of the message digest, in which the ABCD are the 32-bit register and they are initialized. In step number 4, we process the message in a 16-word block. MD5 use the auxiliary function which takes the input as 32-bit number and produce 32-bit output. These functions use logical operators like OR, XOR or NOR. Then output, that is the final stage. After all the rounds have performed, the buffer of ABCD register contain the MD5 output starting with lower bit A and ending with higher bit in D register. So this is the steps involved in MD5 message digest algorithm. Next we will see what are the steps involved in SHA-1. So SHA algorithm is a secure hash algorithm developed by National Institute of Standards and Technology. In 1995, it was named as SHA algorithm, that is designed to modify MD4. In other words, we can say that SHA algorithm is modified version of MD4. SHA is designed to obtain the original message that gives the message digest and find the message producing the same message. What is the SHA algorithm? In the field of cryptography, the SHA algorithm is a crypt formatted hash function that is used to take the smaller input and produces a string that is 160 bits. The hash value generated is known as message digest, which is typically rendered and produced as hexadecimal number, which is 40 digit long. The characteristics of the cryptographic hash function are utilized and used to keep and store the secure the data from collision and the image resistance. It is hard and more time consuming for the hacker or the attacker to find the original intended message with respect to the hash value. After that, there will be a SHA-1, that different types of SHA algorithm include 1, then 0, then 2 and 3. So these are the certain different types of SHA algorithm, popularly known as SHA-0 or SHA-2 or SHA-3. It is a 160 bit having 20 bytes long hash based function that replaces the MD5 algorithm. The NSA, that is National Security Agency, was designed and developed the SHA, suppose to part of the critical component of digital signature algorithm, that is the DSA. Then even though the few weaknesses related to the cryptographic techniques were found in SHA, but this technique is quite popular among the cryptanalysis. So the next is uses of SHA algorithm. The SHA algorithm are widely used in security protocols and applications such as the TLS, that is the transport layer security, then PGP, that is pretty good privacy, then SSL, IP security, and in many government organizations where the security is a major concern, as well as in certain private organization and institution. But nowadays it is recommended that we should use the SHA-3 and stop using the SHA-1 algorithm. To achieve this, we use the 80 rounds of the cryptographic operation to encrypt the secure data. So this is about the SHA. Now we will discuss the difference between SHA and MD5. SHA and versus MD5. In MD5 it stands for message digest, and SHA stand for the secure hash algorithm. The MD5 and the SHA are hashing algorithm, where MD5 is better than SHA in terms of the speed. The second difference is that we can have 120 bits length of a message digest, whereas in SHA-1 we can have only 160 bits length of the message digest. However, SHA-1 is more secure as compared to the MD5. Then the third difference is that the speed of the MD5 is fast as comparison to the SHA-1, while the speed of the SHA-1 is slow as compared to the MD5. The concept behind this hashing algorithm is that these are used to generate the unique digital fingerprints to the data or message, which is known as hash or the digest. Then the fourth difference is that to make out the initial message, the aggregator would want 2 raised to power 128 operation, whereas explanation the MD5 algorithmic program, on the opposite side, SHA-1, it will take 2 raised to power 160, that makes the quite troublesome to seek out. Then the fifth difference is that MD5 is simple than SHA-1, while the SHA-1 is more complex than MD5. Few more differences between MD5 and SHA based on the security. So MD5 provides the integrity or the poor security, while it provides balance or tolerable security. Based on the attack, the comparison can be carried out based on the number of operations required. So MD5 that need to seek out of 2 messages having identified message digest, and the next one, MD5 was presented in 1992, while SHA-1 was presented in 1995. Next, we will discuss the application of cryptographic hash function. Cryptographic hash function algorithms are mainly used in the cryptocurrencies and in downloading the files, password storage, and feeding data from the databases, as well as data authentication and digital signature. Let's begin with data authentication, that is used to establish the proof of identified and ensure that the origin of the electronic message is correctly identified, and to check if a message has been modified or not. After that, digital signature. encrypt the messages digest using the private key, and identify the proof of the message. After digital signature, there is a password storage, in which message digest of a password is compared with the storage. Hacker cannot get password from the storage. It provides security to the password storage, as an intruder cannot gain access to login in using hash value, nor can he derive the password from it. After password storage, there will be a key generation, in which key can be generated from the digest of the passwords and can be made computationally expensive to prevent brute force attack. After the key generation, there will be a intrusion detection and virus detection techniques that keeps and check hash of the file on a system. The most common usage of the cryptographic hash function is data integrity that has to be checked, where it has to assure a user about the authenticity and of the information. Next, we will discuss message authentication code. We will addressing the assignment questions such as what is MAC, explain MAC design using DES in CBC mode of operation. Just now we have discussed the data integrity threats and the use of the hashing techniques to detect any modification attack, other types of threat that exist for the data. So the first one is the MAC algorithm, is a symmetric key cryptographic technique to provide message authentication. For establishing the MAC process, the sender and the receiver share a symmetric key, that is K. Essentially, MAC is the encrypted checksum generated on the underlying message that is sent along with the message to ensure message authentication. The process of using the MAC for authentication is shown in this diagram. The sender uses some publicly known MAC algorithm, input the message and secret key K, and produces a MAC value. Similar to the hash, MAC function also compresses an arbitrary long input into a fixed length output. The major difference between the hash and the MAC is that MAC uses the secret key during the comparison. On receipt of the message and the MAC, the receiver feeds the received message and shared a key K into the MAC algorithm and recompute the MAC value. If the computed MAC does not match with the MAC, then it's sent back to the sender. The bottom line of a receiver safely assume that the message is not genuine. So I hope that you understand what exactly the MAC design in DES with a cipher block chaining message. So next we will discuss HMAC, that is the hash based message authentication code. We will addressing the assignment questions such as explain the complete steps of the HMAC operation. So HMAC is used both data integrity and the authentication. STTPS or SFTP, that is the secure file transfer protocol, and other transfer protocols use HMAC. HMAC provide client and server with shared private key that is known to only them only. So HMAC is a great resistant towards the cryptanalysis attack, as it is used the hashing concept twice. HMAC consists of a twin benefit of hashing and MAC, and thus is more secure than any other authentication code. We must understand the notation used in the steps of algorithm of HMAC. So in HMAC, H stands for the hashing function, then M is the original message, These SI and SO are the input and the output signature respectively. Then this YI is the ith block in the original message of this message M, whereas I ranges from I to L. This is the count of the block in M. So this K is the secret key used for hashing. Then this initial vector IV is the some constant. So HMAC is the working of start with taking the message M containing M block and length of bit B, and input signature is padded to the left of the message, and the whole is given as a input to the hash function, which gives us temporary message MD. This MD again is appended to an output signature, and the whole is applied as a hash function again. The result is our final message digest, that is MD. This is the structural implementation that hold efficiency of the shorter MAC value. I hope you understand clearly the complete steps involved in HMAC operation. Next, we will discuss the difference between the message digest and message authentication code. The difference between message digest and MAC message digest can only generate the integrity of the message. MAC cannot only ensure the integrity but also guarantee the authenticity. Message authentication code, that is a message authentication algorithm, takes two input. One is a message and another is the secret key, which produce as a MAC that allows us to verify and check the integrity and authentication of the message. While in message digest, algorithm takes single input like a message and produces a message digest, which help us to verify and check the integrity of the message. Then the second one is message authentication code. Any change in the secret key or the message result in different MAC being generated. While in message digest, any change in input message result in different hash being generated. The third difference is that an attacker cannot identify and validate the correct MAC without the secret key. In message digest, an attacker has no clue about the message once a hash is generated. Then the fourth difference is that most popular MAC are HMAC and the MAC using DES in CBC mode, while in message digest, the most popular message digest algorithm are MD5 and SHA1. Next, we will discuss the Kerberos. And we will addressing the assignment questions such as what are the technical deficiencies in Kerberos version 4 protocol. So next is Kerberos. Kerberos was created to overcome the threats in an open distributed network environment. A user can change, modify and alter the network address of the other workstation. A user logs onto a client machine, enter his credentials and request some services. Now the username alone is transmitted to the KDC, that is the key distribution center. The server, the password is transmitted into the key form, that is the symmetric cipher, and kept as the user machine. After matching the username with the KDC database, the KDC server creates the TGT. TGT is nothing but the ticket granting ticket. So this ticket granting ticket encrypt the user's key by the same authentication key. The client receive the encrypted TGT and recall the Kerberos makes use of symmetric key cryptography. Hence, the TGT, that is received the decrypted using the user's key, the key that is stored in the user's machine. So the TGT stored an machine that will be enable a session with the server for the specified amount of time. In order to communicate with the server and the request more services, that client will use the TGT and ask the specific services for the KDC server. So this is about the Kerberos. Next, we will discuss what are the differences between Kerberos version 4 and 5. Kerberos version 4 is an updated of the Kerberos software, that is computer network authentication system. It was launched in late 1980s, while on the other side Kerberos version 5, the latter version, developed to enhance the security in authentication. In version 4, it provides the ticket support, while in version 5, it provides the ticket support with extra facilities, such as for forwarding and renewing and post-dating the tickets. The second difference is that in Kerberos version 4, that work on receiver makes write encoding system, while in Kerberos version 5, the work on ASN1 encoding system. In version 4, it does not support transitive cross realm authentication, while in version 5, it supports the transitive cross realm authentication. In version 4, it uses the data encryption standard techniques for encryption, while in version 5, it uses any encryption technique as ciphertext is tagged with the encryption identifier. In version 4, Kerberos version 4, that the ticket lifetime has to be specified in units for a lifetime. So in unit 5, version 5, Kerberos version 5, the ticket's lifetime is specified with the freedom of the arbitrary time. So I am sure that you are now understand very well the difference between Kerberos version 4 and version 5. So next we will discuss the X509 authentication service for the digital certificate. So X509 is a standard defining the format of the public key certificate. So X509 certificate are used in many internet protocol, including TLS, SSL, which is based on HTTPS and secure for browsing the web. Then security certificate contain a public key and identify that host name or organization or the individuals, and is either signed by a certificate authority or self signed. These certificates are used for identify validation for the transmission of the encrypted data that only the owner or the person, such as the organization or the software of that can understand of a specific certificate is able to decrypt and read it. Then X509 certificate include owner's information or the subject distinguished name. So X509 certificate act as a secure identifier digital passport which contain the information about the owner. After that, the public key associated with the subject, the certificate is tied to public key value which is associated with the identity contained in that certificate. Then version information tells the application of the server that to entity trying to access it. Then serial number, the certificate is uniquely adding a digital serial number. After that, the another distinguished name identifying the issue of certificate, that is called CA. The certificate can contain information regarding the subject of the certificate's owner and the issuing certification authority, that is CA. Then digital signature of the CA. To ensure the validity of the certificate, it must be signed by the certification authority. And the last one is the information on the algorithm used to create the digital certificate. So these are the services provided by the X509 authentication protocol to use in a digital certificate. Next, we will discuss the important goal of a digital signature. Among many of us, we have a little bit confusion between the digital certificate and the digital signature. Digital signature is used to verify the authenticity, integrity, non-repetition. That is, it is assumed that message is sent by the known user and not modified. While in digital certificate, it is used to identify the user, that may be a sender or the receiver. Thus, the digital signature or certificate are different kind of things, but both are used for the security purpose. So, message authentication, when the user validate the digital signature using the public key, the sender, he is assured that the signature has been created only by the sender, who possesses the corresponding secret private key, and not anyone else. Then message integrity. In case of attacker has accessed the data and modifies it, the digital signature verification at the receiver end fails. The hash or the modified data and the output provided by the verification algorithm will not match. Hence, receiver can safely deny the message, assuming that the data integrity has been breached. Then non-repetition. Since it is assumed that the only the sender has signing the knowledge of the signature key, so he only create the unique signature on a given data. Thus, the receiver can present data and the digital signature to a third party as a evidence if any dispute arises in the future. Now, to understand the steps to create the digital signature, we must know the schemes for a digital signature. So, next is the digital signature schemes. So, digital signature are used to verify the authenticity of the message sent electronically. A digital signature algorithm use public key system. RSA signature scheme, that D is the private key. We know that E is and N are the public. Suppose Alice create his digital signature using the S is equal to message to the power private key D mod N. Remember that message M is the private message. So Alice send the message M and signature S to the Bob. Bob computes the message M1 equal to signature to the power public key E to the mod with another public key N. If message M1 is equal to original message M, then Bob accept the data sent by the Alice. Thus, received data will be decrypted. So next we will discuss the digital signature standard, which is another scheme for creation of the digital signature. As we have studied, the signature is a way of authenticating the data coming from the trusted individual. Digital signature standard is a Federal Information Processing Standard, FIPS, which is define the algorithm that are used to generate the digital signature with the help of secure hash algorithm. DSS only provide us the digital signature function and not any encryption or exchanging strategies. Sender side, at the DSS approach, hash code is generated out of the message and input are given to the signature function. The input of the function will provide us with the output signature that containing two components. yes and R. At the receiver side, at the receiver end, verification of the sender is done. The hash code of the sent message is generated. That there will be a verification function which takes the input and produces the output of the verification. So next we will learn one more digital signature creation scheme, that is EL-GAML digital signature scheme. In EL-GAML is designed to enable the encryption by a user's public key with the decryption by the user's private key. So the EL-GAML signature scheme involves the use of private key for the encryption and the public key for the decryption. This scheme use the same keys but the different algorithm. The algorithm creates the two digital signature. These two signature are used in verification phase. The key generation process is the same as the EL algorithm. The public key remains E1, E2 and P, and the private key continue to be D. So next we will see few study questions based on today's session. So the first question is, explain 4 passes of MD5 message digest algorithm. Then explain operation of MD5. After that, what is SHA1? Explain different steps of working of SHA1. Then what is MAC? Explain MAC design using DES in CBC mode of operation. Then draw and explain complete steps of HMAC operation. After that, the difference between message digest and message authentication code. One more question is that what are the technical deficiencies in Kerberos version 4 protocol? Explain how Kerberos version 5 addresses these deficiencies. And the last question is, what is digital signature? Explain the steps to create the digital signature. Now it is time to summarize the session. Here we are summarizing our today's lecture. We have briefly discussed the MD5 message digest algorithm, in which we learn the 5th version of the message digest algorithm, which is actually developed to produce the 128-bit message digest. Then next we have discussed the modified version of the MD5, that is SHA, secure hash algorithm. Here we have studied how SHA is designed to obtain the original message. After that we have proceed to review the term Kerberos. Here we understand what are the technical deficiencies in version 4 protocol and version 5. After that we have studied the importance of digital certificate, in which we reviewed the term like X509 certificate. Then we conclude our session with the discussion on digital signature standard, that is DSS. We studied how digital signature standard scheme generate and verifies the digital signature. So in next session we will discuss the IP security, which is the first module of our unit 4, that is security requirement. The fundamentals associated with this topic are briefly available in this book, that is Cryptography, Network Security, written by the Bernard Menezes. You can go through this book to understand the next session more clearly. So if you have any difficulty or the problem in solving the assignment question, feel free to post your queries at the forum of our Google Classroom. I will be happy to solve your queries. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.